Welcome to episode number 27 of the Sundowners Golf Club podcast. I'm Giovanni. I'm here with Matt. Matt,
Hello. Yep, I'm here live with Giovanni. I'm recording in captivity. I've been captured. As you can see, no background for me, so trying to keep a low pro as to who's got me.
and I'm just slowly upgrading. This has been an exciting podcast to record. I got all sorts of new equipment. I got some audio mixers. I've got this fancy thing. For anybody listening, it's a boom arm. I got another one here too, so we can double it up. Another fancy one. I got another mic. All this good stuff. I'm excited. Kind of setting up a little mini studio here at my house. As you can see, I got a little stuff going on in the background. You can kind of see all the silly golf memorabilia that I've got floating around here. So we're making moves. Hey, before we get too far into whatever it is we're going to talk about today, you and I haven't talked about this, but I got a big mea culpa. As everybody knows,
let me settle in real quick.
So as everybody knows, especially in the off season, which I'll call this part of the golf season, the off season, we don't always watch all the golf. I'm usually tuning in on my phone just to see where everything's at. Last week we talked about what's his name? Rasmus Nergaard Peterson, and how he won the DP World Tour Championship. He did not win the DP World Tour Championship. It was actually Matthew Fitzpatrick. And I'm not going to make excuses. I'm just going to show why I messed this up so badly. Okay. So let me just show you here. All right. So even to this day, when you type in DP World Tour, it shows this. This is the leaderboard that's presented. I did know that Rory McIlroy eagled the 18th to make it into a playoff. It turns out he did that to go into a playoff with Matthew Fitzpatrick. This is the round 3 scores, and it just never updated the final round scores.
That's hilarious.
So that is a huge mistake on my part. I apologize to all of the listeners. I specifically apologize to Matthew Fitzpatrick. Great win.
And here I thought maybe the mea culpa was coming my direction. So
no. I think I got a pretty clean rap sheet with you so far, unless you tell me otherwise.
I mean, I don't think that I was that off base, last week with, my take on, contractual obligations, we'll call it.
It doesn't surprise me that you think you're not far off base with your own take.
Our pal Matt, he had, I think his words for me were something along the lines of certified scumbag, something along those lines. So they weren't, nice, it hurt my feelings a little, Matt, when you called me that. No, I'm lying. I just kind of said LOL. But maybe you'll come around someday.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe Matt Kuchar can provide us with the ultimate mea culpa and tip his waitress. So back to the current world of golf. We had a kind of a fun weekend at the RSM Classic. I watched a little bit. I watched the end of the final round a little bit in the morning on Sunday. Kind of bizarre that there was like nobody there watching. It was really strange, but big story is Sami Valimaki ended up winning, got his first PGA Tour win. I think he's won a couple times on the DP World Tour leading into that. He's kind of one of those names that's been sneaking around. He's the first Finnish player to win on the PGA Tour, so pretty cool for him. But aside from him winning, it's a fun week because it's the end of the fall series. And one of the big changes over the last, I guess it'd be about a calendar year, was they changed how you retain your PGA Tour exempt status. And so after the fall series, all of the top 100 players retain their full exempt status. After that, the next cuts to 125, and they have, I can't remember what they call it, but it's like a limited exempt status or eligible status. And then everybody else is no longer retains their card unless they have other exemptions. So kind of fun watching that wire. It kind of felt like the FedEx Cup playoffs when they show you that kind of cut line if they're going to move on to the next phase. But this one feels a little bit more juicy because you got guys who are grinding, guys who we may have heard of, may not have heard of, that are all fighting for one of those spots. So that was kind of a fun story, and we can get into some of those names. But
Yeah, I was gonna say
that-
anybody, because we kind of did we kind of had this conversation mid-season, right, where we talked about some guys. So I mean, who of note, I guess, of golf sickos is losing out here?
well, let's go through the list here. So Sami Valimaki moved up to 51st, of course, with a win. Max Grazerman was in the mix there. We've seen Garrick Higo messing around a little bit in the fall series. Nico Echeverria, I feel like that's a name that's been popping around a little bit. So a lot of these guys, not big surprises here. Aaron Rye, Max McGreevy, who had a good week this week, finished second. We won't spend too much time here in the 70s, but this is kind of where it starts to get juicy. Make our way straight to the 100. Okay, so one name here. So Lee Hodges, he's a PGA Tour winner. Haven't really heard a ton from him. I can't remember which event he won, but I'm pretty sure he won last year. Ricky Castillo, so he had a heck of a Sunday. He was charging back, and he actually made it to the 100th spot until Max McGreevy made like a 30-footer on the 18th to slide him back.
Brutal.
It's one of those kind of, I don't know, story within the story that I think is pretty cool about this fall series thing. A couple names on here. Matt Wallace, he was in the mix for, or at least he was part of the conversation for the Ryder Cup. He's done really well on the DP World Tour. Max Homa, I think he's kind of a fan favorite. Kind of hate to see that. Interesting one here, and I'll admit I took my eye off the ball with this guy, but Tom Kim. I know he's had a pretty quiet, ever since he kind of, I don't know, he had a pretty good President's run last time the President's Cup was around. He was kind of that young, new stud coming up, and he's been ultra quiet. So he loses his full exempt status. Adam Scott, I don't know. I mean, this guy's been on tour forever. It just makes me wonder, like, how many times has he been in this position where he's just no longer retains his exemption status? I'm sure he'll be playing in a lot of majors through exemptions like the Masters, but also getting sponsors exemptions, stuff like that. Here's our guy, Matt Kuchar, the ATM machine.
Whoa, hold on. There's a name here that I was sure you're going to mention that you skipped over. Mr. Putnam.
Talking about Andrew Putnam. Yeah, he's a local guy. He's from Washington State. Well,
because of you, I always his name is always kind of catches my eye.
The only reason it didn't catch my eye per se is because he's kind of 100 to 150 guy. He kind of has his whole career, I mean, shout out to him. He's one of the older guys. He's got a family and kids, and he's just plugging away at it. But I guess it just seems like this might just be considered relatively average for him. I don't know.
Yeah. What about, Billy Horschel's there. I think I've mentioned this, maybe not. I've only been to one PGA Tour event in my life. Whoa, there's a 1,000 of us there, a billion of us. I've only been to one PGA Tour event, and it was the BMW at Cherry Hills in Denver. And I watched the final group on Sunday, Billy Horschel, Ricky Fowler, Bubba Watson. So this was 2014, 2015.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like, Bubba and Ricky were in there. Billy Horschel was the least cool guy in that group of three at the time,
Yeah.
And Billy Horschel ended up winning that tournament. So that's the only one I've ever been, was a Billy Horschel win. I'll never forget it.
That's interesting. I think he's been hurt this year because he's actually been playing pretty good golf. I think he won. What did he win? The Memorial, maybe? I don't know. Scotty probably won that one, but he did have a big win after kind of a tough stretch, and then he's been out with injury, if I recall right. We'll see more of him in the TGL, I'm sure.
Not gonna lie. I think Billy Horschel, one of the best dressed on tour. I think his tour put togetherness is one of my favorites. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the alligator belts he wears every once in a while. Sick.
You know, he actually has golf style that I can appreciate. He kind of has that traditional look to him without going full, Stuart Payne. But I don't know if I love his. He goes with like the solid primary colors a lot, and I'm just not in on that.
You know what it screams to me, and maybe it's East Coast Forbes 500 vibes.
Like old money.
Just old money. That's what it screams to me, and I love it.
But here, let's take a quick look at
crab cakes and
football leaderboard. Okay, so like I said, Sami Valimaki got the win. I got a couple things on Sami Valimaki after we move by here, but like I said, Ricky Castillo, he was in that 100th place until Max McGreevy took solo second with a bomb of a putt. Also, it was a big putt because he was the leader in the clubhouse at that point, which Sami Valimaki, he was able to coast his way to the finish, but it wasn't a done deal. There's Lee Hodges. We mentioned I think he was the 101. Pretty close finish. You got to think if he finishes solo fourth instead of T4, he might have made his way in. But this is kind of all the names that you kind of expect to see in these types of events, which I think is kind of a fun model that they've gone to. I mentioned that there were not a lot of people there, it seemed. So I was watching highlights of Sami Valimaki's wins on the DP World Tour, and he has kind of this almost like a tiger celebration. It's that kind of arch back, double fist bump, repeated fist bump thing. And it looks awesome. He kind of did it, but it was really awkward at the RSM Classic. So it's just quiet, right? There's just not a lot of people. But he also like awkwardly, so he marks his ball with a tap in so he can get the finishing putt. But then his playing partner hits their putt to where he would have had to move his mark. So he just put the ball down really quick and put it in and did like a mini double fist bump. But there wasn't like a big roar because I think they were saving it for when both the golfers were done. Just a little bit awkward. But then you saw like a group of his boys coming out on the green. It looked like it was a fun time.
There you go. I mean, what a feeling though. Watch your boy win it.
Now, fun fact about Sami Valimaki. So during his press conference, he talked a lot about, what it was like playing golf in Finland growing up. He had mentioned that his first dream was to play in the NHL. He's a hockey guy, and he speaks pretty highly of himself from a hockey standpoint. But he had mentioned that his brother is in the NHL.
Yep.
Did you know that his brother was in the NHL?
I know that last name. I guess I didn't assume it was his brother.
Yeah, it's Juuso Valimaki. He plays for the Utah Mammoth right now. His brother also played for the Tri-City Americans.
Love that.
I did not know.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I think I'm all in on Sami Valimaki now.
I'm in. I'm sold. I'm a Valimaki guy.
He's a hockey guy. His brother played for the Tri-City Americans. Played with Morgan Geekie.
All right. Hey, it's official. This pod is officially Sami Valimaki fan base here.
Yeah, we are Sami Valimaki's #1 fans. I was looking at his brother's highlights, and he doesn't have a lot of highlights, but in the short highlight reel I saw, he's a defenseman, and in 2 of his goals, he got a tip in front of the net. And both times the announcers are like, you don't see this very often, a D-man to a D-man, but it's not point to point.
What is he doing down there? He's just getting nasty or what?
It just was a broken play. Yeah, they're just being chippy.
Gotta love that.
Yeah, pretty cool. So shout out to Sami Valimaki. I'm interested to see moving forward if
there's reason to believe then Sami Valimaki has broken bread here in the Tri-Cities then, if his brother was playing hockey here.
I mean, he had to have. Although, I mean, in the world of hockey, right? A lot of people they're very familiar to shipping their kids off, living with the billet family. So coming all the way here from Finland to watch a WHL game, I don't know, maybe, but let's just say
Maybe at least one, right?
Yeah, let's just say we're walking on the same ground that Sami Valimaki walked on.
Love that.
He's a big boy. He's
Is
got
he
this
big?
like he's tall. He's tall and he's thick. He has this like putting stance and he's an unreal putter. But it's like it looks like he has a pretty short putter and he's just kind of like towering over the putter. Like his back is arching, like he's about to like pounce on the thing.
Love that.
Yep. Oh, so I want to talk about, because we haven't really fleshed it out that much. You had sent me a video of you holing out on number 3 at Columbia Point, and then I got another text from you saying you hold out again. You got to walk us through that.
All right, so we'll start on 3. So we can't record these scores, obviously, and I was like, let's have a little fun today. I have some Sam Snead woods that I just kind of carry around because I think that they're cool. And I'll go to the driving range with them every once in a while. If the boys are having a good time, I'll bust them out. And so I put them in the bag, grab the push cart, and decided I was going to play around with the woods. And so number 3, if you've played Columbia Point, it's an intimidating hole. No matter how many times you've played this hole, it's an intimidating hole. Water, the entire left side, can't go left. And there's like hills on the right. And so just it visually is a very thin fairway. It's really not, but it feels thin. And so I tee off with these woods. And the truth about these clubs is if you don't hit it on the sweet spot, that ball does not go very far. Okay. So I didn't hit it absolutely square. So I had, an uncomfortable distance to the green. And so I flew an iron up short right. And so I kind of had the whole green working with me, looking in. And the reason I was okay with going to the right is if you played Columbia Point where the pin was, is the back part of it, and there's like this little swell. It kind of goes down in this little cup. That's where the flag is. So you can kind of get lucky sometimes. You throw it up and let it roll down the hill. You can save par or get an easy birdie. So I hit my wedge. And it hits generally in the area I was looking at. I was about 70, 80 yards from the flag, but I can't see it, right? So I just wipe my club off, put it in the bag, start walking up the hill, and I'm sitting there talking to my playing partner. I'm not really paying attention. We're just out there having a good time. And I'm looking around the green and I see one of my playing partner's balls sitting there, but I don't see mine. And I'm like, I know I watch my ball bounce, roll. So I just don't think in any way that this ball like flew off anywhere. I'm like, but where could it be? Right. Because your first thought isn't, oh, I jarred this thing.
That's always the first place I look, though.
But as I'm looking, I go, I think I may have jarred this thing. And so I bust out the camera and I start recording. Right. So what you saw was my actual walk up to the cup.
Mm-hmm.
Walking up, and I'm like, man, I'm going to look like such an idiot. I point this camera in the cup and there's going to be no ball. But sure as heck, there it was, balls in the cup.
Mm-hmm.
And then even more fun, if you see the video, there's a guy on the 3rd story apartment complex overlooking the screen, and he yells, "Nice shot!" So he watched the whole thing.
So when you were hollering, saying, "Do you watch it go in?" You were yelling to a guy in the apartment complex?
Yeah, that's what was happening.
That is
he
funny.
watched the whole thing go on. And so that was fun, obviously, right, to save birdie, right? Because that's what I did. I mean, I was scrambling my buns off and got a birdie. And so the rest of the front 9, I'm playing pretty good golf, right? After that birdie, I'm even golf. I'm even. Get to the 9th, kind of the same thing, right? So I kind of hit a putsy driver and Number 9 at Columbia Point is, if you're not in the right place, it's going to be a long hole. It's a par 5. There's a lot of people that hit good drives on this par 5 and still lay up, right? And so I don't hit a very good drive. My second shot kind of rolls out further than I preferred, so I didn't really have a decent lie for my third shot, but what the heck? Let's go for the green anyway. 7-iron in hand, going over the pond, hit it, and I'm like, I don't know if I hit that quite good enough, but I think I might get lucky. Hits the bank on the other side of the pond and rolls back into the water. Shit. Luckily, right? I mean, I got safe. So I can drop.
That did not go where I thought it was going to go.
Right. I get to drop on the other side, right? Because I hit the bank. Shout out Matt Hansen, right? So I dropped.
That's right.
I dropped there on the bank, and another situation, right? Like, I'm just trying to get close to lose as least amount of strokes as possible. I hit the chip. I pushed it right a little bit, and it hits the fringe. This one isn't as pretty as the first one. I hit the face of the hill I was aiming at, but about 2 feet right of what my aim point was. So I was like, not going to be as close as I wanted. And it hits the fringe of the green and just darts it left. And my walking partner goes, it's going to go in. And so I'm about eye level with the cup, and I watch the ball just disappear. So on the front 9, I was able to chip in to save birdie and save par.
Okay. So
it was a fun round, man. I think if I was able to post the score, I think I was only 2 or 3 over. It was a good round.
Well, first off, congratulations. Second off, I just have a question about terminology.
Okay.
I'll start by, I think we've talked about it on this podcast, but Dave Primus, one of our Sundowner summer leaguers, we let him into the group. He joins us, and it was either the first week of Sundowner Summer League or maybe like a practice round, like the week before.
Right.
It's the first time he's playing with our group. I wasn't there to witness it, but of course, we all go out for drinks afterwards and we hear all about it. He says he chipped in on hole 9 at Canyon Lakes for Eagle. And we're like, well, what club did you use? Like, tell us about it. And he's like, well, it was like 130 out and I hit a 9-iron. And I was like, Dave, that's not a chip in. That's a hole out.
Yeah.
Now, on the flip side, I think in your case, it sounds like we're talking about chip-ins.
So I think my first one is borderline. So
and what was the yardage on hole 3?
On hole 3, I'm estimating, because I wasn't using a laser as I was saying that day. I was shooting on pure vibes. But I would estimate that it was probably about 70 yards, 80 yards. So it wasn't close.
That's a whole lot. That's a whole lot.
Okay. I think I called it a holdout. I don't know, or you can rewind. The second one on hole 9 was definitely a chip in, right? I mean, I'm green side and I chipped in.
Okay. I'm just doing a little
I've never actually given thought to the defining nature of hole out or chip in. I feel like in my head, now while you're looking it up, here's how I figure it in my head. If I'm taking a full swing or close to a full swing, I'm going to call it a hole out. If I'm around the green where I, just barely in the rough or fringe or whatever, I'm going to call that a chip in.
Okay. Now, it's interesting because I didn't remember doing this at the time. In fact, I might just share this with the group here. I asked you actually to clarify after you sent the video. So let's do this here. Okay. So in our text thread.
Oh, you got the text.
I get this video. So let's go ahead and play this video really quick.
All right. I wasn't expecting us to do this. Is he going to play?
Oh, technical difficulties
so I text here. Pitch in here is what I said. No audio?
No audio, I guess. I hear the guy from the apartment complex saying, nice shot. Okay. But anyhow, task at hand. So my response, third shot, chip in or hole out. And
I
I
use
didn't
a
pay any
third.
attention to this, but you
Right.
said 70-yard pitch in.
She kind of pitched it up.
So then we get later, and this is the one I didn't respond to. Saved par this time with another hole out. Okay, so we're kind of getting this language all
Oh man,
intermixed
I'm
here.
jacking
So
it all up. I wasn't
I think
expecting to be under the gun here.
I think we should try to iron this out a little bit. And for any listeners out there, I'd love to hear your opinion, because I don't think there's a right or a wrong, but it feels right and it feels wrong. Okay, so I think a chip in would be anything where you're doing like a green side chipping motion. Even if it's a flop shot, I think that would count as technically a chip in. I think we all know that area. You could call it like for the TGL, they've kind of defined it in a certain way, right? They get within 50 yards and then they turn around and they go to the actual green. I think any chip shot that goes in around that green in TGL is a chip in.
Yeah.
So I think we should all use that same barometer when we're trying to decide if it's a chip in or not. How do you feel about that?
I like that. In my head, that's kind of what I thought I was doing, but I mean, the evidence is in. I did not do that.
Yeah. Now a hole out, in my first inclination for a hole out would be something that's like a full shot. But I think we can poke holes in that pretty quickly.
Well, that's,
Brent,
I'll admit the first one on 3 was kind of in between, right? So I was in the rough, kind of an awkward stance. I surely didn't take a full swing, right? Like I think I used a 54, if I'm not mistaken. So I had a 54 in my hand, and I was just trying to hit it up onto the green, right? So I wasn't full swinging, I wasn't flopping. It definitely wasn't a chip. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of a weird middle ground, you know?
based on your description, I would say on hole 3 that I would say I hold out for birdie. And when somebody asks, because third shot on a par 4, it seems like a fair
Should be a
question.
putt.
Is it a hole out or a chip in, right? Chip in
Yeah.
makes sense. You might have missed the green, but in your case, it sounds like a hole out. And I might even call it, if I'm texting my buddies, I might say, I had a chippy hole out, so it kind of provides some context for, hey, it wasn't just like a traditional pitch shot where I'm just kind of bumping it on the green. No, I had to finesse it in there a little bit. Whereas hole 9 for you, I think that's firmly had chipped in to save par.
I would agree. I think it's easy answer for 9. I think 3 is kind of a weird case, right? Because I think there's only a few holes that you play that would play out that same way. You know what I mean? Because that hole is yardage wise isn't long, but it like plays long. You know what I mean? Because everybody's scared of the water, you don't usually hit your driver, right? So even though it's long, people kind of hit hybrids and woods and long irons and choose to hit a mid iron in. Is that fair? So it's kind of a weird hole. Like there's a lot of holes on
It's
the very course where that same setup, I would have still been left with a greenside shot over a 70 yards remaining, right?
Yeah, I kind of want to, if I can like pull it up here. Because I always say this when we're out there. That's one, I think, one of the better holes in Tri-Cities. I don't particularly like the hole just because it's not very easy, but I just think the design of it is awesome. Because I just love when you can have a hole that isn't long, but it has teeth. Like it just takes good course design to pull that off. This is me kind of pretending like I know anything about course design, but let me share it here.
Oh, we're gonna bring it up. There we go.
Yeah, so
Do this.
this is typically from the blues. We're going to be teeing off from this area here. In fact, we can do a little distance measurement here.
We were playing further back. Blues are all the way on the back of that, not back on the blacks, but
okay.
back side. Yeah.
So we got 1,000 feet. So what is that? 340 yards or so, give or take. So it's not long by like par 4 standards, but what Matt's talking about is, one, you got a pond all the way up the left, but you also have the pond that sticks out a little bit. So, it's pretty reasonable to expect that, you could hit a drive that, if you hit it really well, could make its way into the pond. And then you're kind of constantly guarding against this anyhow. And so I think what you're trying to say is, people make certain decisions off the tee that if you don't hit it well, you could find yourself with 180 yards into the green, which, if you're 180 yards, you're still hitting over this pond, over this bunker.
Right.
No, I think it's an awesome par four. It's stinking hard. I whenever I play that hole, I just, in my head, just say bogey's not a bad score here. Par's a great score, and go from there.
Yeah. Do you want to measure out where I was? Let's see what actually was, because I estimated 70 yards.
Okay.
So flag is down in the little, where the hole is.
Yeah, so we're talking back here.
Yep. Down in that hole. Yeah.
So what's it? 210 feet, 70 yards.
So I was on the back side of this hill before the bunker. So back in
Over
the
here?
deep green there, in the middle of the green, just south and left.
Over here.
Out there. Yeah.
Okay. So we're talking 250 feet. So what is that? 85 yards?
Yeah, so I wasn't far off.
83 yards. Yeah, that's a hole out. That's firmly a hole out. Now, I think maybe part of your, gosh, we're hammering this hole out discussion out a lot. I like it. Now, I think if you hit your drive to there and then you hit it in the hole for eagle, I think you would have called it a hole out. Like, undoubtedly.
I think I would have easily said I hold out for eagle. I think the thing that changed the vibe on this one was the fact that I was hitting my third shot.
Yeah. Yep.
For sure. Right? Because like my only two on a par four, I only have one in my whole golf career. I quickly call it a hole out. Right? I was 120 yards out. I hit a wedge, and it bounced twice, rolled, and went in the cup. Like, that's a hole out for sure. Right?
Yep. I agree.
But it'd be weird to call it a hole out if you were saving par, like scrambling for a birdie, I don't know. I never think about this until you brought it up. I've never actually given it any thought.
No, I'm glad we did. I think it's something that maybe we need to set straight, especially with our group. So this is unrelated to golf. Had an interesting day yesterday. My dog had to have emergency surgery.
Oh no!
To get like a 15-inch sock removed from his intestines.
Why do you have a 15-inch sock?
Well, that was kind of a topic of discussions because my dog, he's known for getting into socks and things of that nature. And so we came home Friday night and he had puked all over the rug, and out came a sock, like a normal little ankle sock, one of my daughter's socks. And he wasn't kind of feeling very good the next day, and I just assumed it was because he regurgitated a sock and puked everywhere.
Right.
Saturday, all day Saturday, he was just totally lethargic. By the time the day ended, he hadn't eaten anything, wouldn't poop, wouldn't pee. He tried everything. Right. Nothing was coming out. So Sunday morning, went out to the vet. Shout out to Horse Heaven Hills. I think Horse Heaven Vet Clinic down the road from me. Place was phenomenal.
Yep, I took my dog there once, also for an emergency surgery.
I mean, it's kind of bougie almost. Like, it's really nice interior. They got couches in the little in the patient rooms. It was a pretty emotional day for us. I had my my niece and my nephew with us too, and
oh man,
when they were finally bringing Knox out for his surgery, it took a couple minutes because the kids were kind of bidding farewell, saying good luck, Knox. They wrote little cards for the vet to saying we hope he gets well soon. And the nurse or the assistant, I don't know what they're called in the vet space, but she was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm trying not to cry." So the kids were cute, and he came out doing okay, but he's kind of a sad, mopey pup right now.
Does he got the cone of shame?
He's got the cone of shame.
Cone of shame.
He does this thing because he's on pain meds, and It's like a pain med / anesthetic. And when I give it to him, he gets a little loopy and he'll get up, start walking, and then it almost looks like he's a robot that gets powered down. His head, his head hunches down, and then he doesn't move for a little while. I think he's falling asleep. And I'll be like, Knox, pops his head up. Oh, okay.
My dog, I used to have a Weimaraner. His name was Zebulon Pike. For all you history buffs, Zebulon Pike is the name of the explorer that Pike's Peak is named after. Also, the name of the man who caught the forest on fire on Pike's Peak. So, same guy. But yeah, I used to have
Pikes
a
Peak is in
Weimaraner.
Colorado, right?
Correct. Yeah, Pike's Peak's in Colorado. Not the tallest peak, but probably the most mentioned peak in Colorado. So if you're a car guy, there's the Pikes Peak International Hill Climb. It's like, no, let me back up. I said not like, it is the most sought after hill climb rally race in the world. So some of the greatest drivers ever have raced up Pikes Peak. It's a little shout out to Colorado. But anyway, but Zeb, as I called him, he would do something similar when he had the cone of shame. He had to have a surgery, and he would like put his cone flat on the ground, but be standing straight up. But he would put his cone on the ground and then walk, and so the cone would make a bunch of noise. And I was convinced that he was doing this to make us feel bad for his cone situation. Make this awful noise across the floor. It's like, dude, buddy, like you did this to yourself. You did this. You have the cone because you did a silly thing. That's
Yep.
the situation.
That's how Knox eats his food, is he just buries his cone down in the ground. And he actually just started eating normally, like right before we started this pod. He hardly ate just because he was, I don't know, just getting used to it. His intestines were all inflamed and bruised, and he was pretty sheepish about it. But then he went to town right before this. So he's on the up and up. He's got a pretty gnarly scar. Looks like he had a C-section.
Yep. My
But he's
lab
hanging in
had
there.
the same thing. Yeah. I had to have a lab. He had to have several socks. It was crazy. We took him and I remember asking, hey, should we take like, x-rays? And the doc looks at me, he like touches, Moose was his name. He like is pulling on his stomach area, and he grabs my hand and puts it on Moose's stomach. He goes, you feel that? Not? I said, yeah. He goes, that's a sock. I don't need an x-ray. I can feel the sock. And they took him back to surgery and pulled the sock out, and he was all better. So
Well, good.
through it.
Well, gosh, it's probably saved you $600. I mean, this whole operation was about $4,200. It was not on my shopping list for yesterday.
Yikes.
I actually went through the like mental gymnastics of, what's the price? I think every dog owner kind of has that price.
Yep.
And I'm sitting in this room, and I've got my kiddo and niece and nephew just like snuggling him, and they're kind of wishing him good luck, and they're like, poor Knox. And I couldn't even come up with a number. I think I was kind of initially thinking like 10 grand. That's a lot of money. But then I'm watching them. I'm like, I don't want to be the one to say no.
Right.
So I was kind of holding my breath when they gave me the little estimate before they did the surgery. But yeah, it could have been more if they had to cut out any pieces of his intestines. I guess if it rots away with that sock sitting in there too long, then they have to cut it out and stitch it back together. And that would have been an extra $1,500. So
Sheesh. Well, on a slightly happier note, I accidentally had to spend a bunch of money this week too. I bought a espresso machine.
I saw that.
I've been wanting an espresso machine for like, I don't know, probably close to a decade. And I finally pulled the trigger on an espresso machine. I'm still trying to figure out how to dial it in, but I'm not going to lie to you. Even not dialed in espresso shots It's the best coffee I've ever made inside my home ever. It was the greatest dollar I've ever spent. It's amazing. I love it.
I'm happy for you. I just got to say, this is coming right off the heels of us acquiring our first podcast sponsor, the Pick Me Up Coffee Company in Tri-Cities, Washington. We've got 2 locations, one in Kennewick off of 27th Avenue by 395. The other one is in Richland off Dallas Road. But anyway, trust me, the coffee is really good. But apparently, Matt goes and buys his own espresso machine.
Hold on. What I said was best coffee I've made in my house.
I noticed the distinction.
I was very specific. To think that I'm not still going to go get iced coffees every once in a while is crazy, because I'm definitely still going to get iced coffees.
The Matt with 3 T's.
There you go. The MATTT. Shout out. I'd get a shout. It's Mallory just walked in. That's why I was poking around. She's the one that gave us that name. With the Matt with 3 T's.
All right. I'll tell Gianna that she's the one to blame.
What's Gianna to blame for?
No, I said I'll tell Gianna so she knows it's Mallory to blame. I like how her first response when you told her the drink was,
"Oh, that's right. I
asked 16 ounce."
And she's like, "I don't like it." I'm sure if she thought it was Mallory, she would have liked it, though. I think she was only hating it because it was me.
Yeah, it gets like it's like a bit for her. Yeah,
me and Gianna have a playful rivalry going on.
Yep. I kind of did a funny thing today. In fact, you're going to Walla Walla next month, aren't you?
Yeah, in December I will be going to Walla Walla.
So I made a kind of impromptu trip to Walla Walla, and it just felt weird not golfing. Like, it's rare that I actually make it to Walla Walla proper, because we just take a left on Frenchtown Road and go to Wine Valley.
Yeah.
But I went and picked
almost
up
on accident. If you're heading that direction, you just accidentally turn left.
Well, we're driving, and I was like, "Oh shoot, I forgot something." And Amanda's like, "What?" Kind of worried. I was like, "My golf clubs."
There goes my internet.
And she's just rolling her eyes. Yeah, went over there. I picked up a free desk on Marketplace. The fellow I bought it from was just peachy. I feel like Marketplace can be real hit or miss on, what that relationship is like. So worked out really well.
I'm not gonna lie, I missed what you bought on Marketplace. What did you buy on Marketplace?
I bought a new desk for my new podcast studio.
Oh, there you go. Dude, I've been trying. So for everybody that's listening here, I'm trying to acquire a collection before our Masters tournament. I'm trying to put together a bag. I'm trying to get a vintage Sunday bag, and I'm trying to get some older clubs. I would prefer a full Wilson set is what I'm trying to find, like an older Wilson set to include. I mentioned last week, this is kind of what I'm hinting at, was the 8802. But if I can get some older Wilson wedges, I'm trying to get all this put together. And I've hit people up on Facebook Marketplace, and I can't get anything. Like, I found the guy with the Wilson Sunday bag. It's perfect. And he was like,
and
he must work shift work. And he's like, "Oh, I'm really tired. I'm working shift work." I gave him my personal number. I gave him my phone number over Facebook Marketplace messaging. Said, "Call me. I will come pick this bag up right now." And he's like, yeah, I'll let you know. Ghosted. Nothing. It's still for sale. It's like, do you not want to sell this bag? Like, I'm a person. I have real money. My money's good here. Give me the bag. And it's such a cool bag. I think I showed you. If you're a race car guy and you like the Marlboro livery, it's very Marlboro livery Wilson golf bag. It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, you got to get your hands on it.
So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to put together a fun little collection of clubs for the Masters Par 3 tournament. Just because I feel like it's a fun little tournament that you can just kind of do quirky stuff, Yeah,
that's a tournament that's more about the memories than anything.
Right.
But hey, you're mentioning the Masters Par 3 tournament. I think what I'd like to do really quick is just give a quick rundown of the Sundowners schedule for next year.
Let's do it.
So keep in mind that some of these dates are relatively tentative, but they're close to ironed out. But to kick off the season, we're gonna do a new tournament / event that I say it that way because I don't picture a full-on tournament the way we usually do them. If anything, it's just more of a, hey, come out and do this with us. But on the opening day of golf season, we're going to have an opening day event. And what I really want to do is leading into it, I want to treat opening day of golf in Washington State like a holiday. And we're going to hype this thing up and say, hey, we get to post scores. We're back in the swing of things. And that's going to be kind of like a Sundowners gin membership event, right? And so we're going to bring people out, maybe play a money game, and then try to convince people to sign up for our gin membership. That way we can recruit more Sundowners. So that'll be March 1st. That is opening day. I think that's a Saturday. The Masters Par 3, this will be our 6th annual for that. That's April 8th. It's always on a Wednesday. It's always going to be in the evening. It's because it's a tradition unlike any other. That's the same day that the pros play their Masters Par 3. So expect bigger things from that compared to previous years. We're going to lean into it a little bit more than before. So that's April 8th. May 30th is our 2nd annual Sundowner Spring Classic. The location for that event is to be determined, but we're hoping for some big things there. We've got our Summer League kicking off June 10th. The season is an 8-week-long season with our last week being June 29th. And then the Sundowners Summer League Club Championship is going to be August 8th and 9th. That's going to be taking place at Suncadia Golf Resort. And then soon after that, August 22nd, we're going to do our Sundowners Member Championship. I think we'll probably put a brand on this one a little bit. Kicking around names for what we're going to call our gin membership.
I think you should name it after who won it the first year.
The Matt Caldwell Invitational. That doesn't have a ring to it.
Sounds pretty good.
Hey, that's you won it when it was the easiest one to win. So it's like you're glad you got it now because we're never gonna have that few people playing. But for that tournament, that's essentially like
I still shot a 77 from the Golds at Wine Valley. That's
still pretty golf. Sick. It was good golf. You'd have been hard to beat, I think, regardless. But for us, that's for anybody that signs up for our gin membership. That's like our version of a club championship. So that'll be August 22nd. That's going to be at Wine Valley. It'll be a 36-hole day like we did last year. And then moving into the fall, we've got September 26th is going to be I'm calling it a President's Cup team event just because it is a President's Cup year, but it's the second iteration of what we did this September where we did a Ryder Cup team format. And then to wrap it up, we're going to do the Sundowners Fall Classic November 7th again. That's what we got. So anybody listening that hasn't participated in these things, check us out. You'll probably see all this stuff posted on our website, sundownersgolfclub.com, or at our Instagram. Yeah, tell your friends. We got a lot of fun things in store. Trying to bring more people out and make an impact on the community. So we'll see how it goes.
Love it. That's awesome, man. I didn't realize we had our Fall Classic date stamped out too. That's cool.
That's definitely one of our tentative dates, but just looking at the schedule, that it looks like that could work pretty well for us
because of the course that we're looking at for it. That's just kind of
in fact, I'd like to have that one at Wine Valley again. I think it worked really well this year. The weather held out for us, so we'll see. Obviously, that's close to an entire calendar year from now, but
yeah, I don't know. I mean, if we hold that tournament on that weekend for 10 years, I'm not sure we'll ever get better weather than we had a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
It was like 55 degrees, no wind, no rain, slightly cloudy. I mean, it was that those days don't exist in the fall, early winter here. Just doesn't. Yep. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, fun things in store for us. I'm excited. Yeah, it's good stuff. So now we've got the fall classic or not the fall classic, the fall series is over. We've got all the cards locked in that are going to be locked in. Um, I don't know that we have much coming up on PGA Tour, do we? What else is there to look forward to? TGL? When does the TGL start up again?
I'm fully locked in on college football season right now. I'm not going to lie to you. We can turn this into a college football talk quick.
Well, just gosh, I almost forgot about the TGL until we were talking about holeouts. So TGL season 2 starts December 28th.
How
I'm
much?
curious
Well, hold on. Let's go back to the TGL. How much of that did you watch last year?
I remember watching the first one. What day of the week was it? It fell on a day of the week that was actually kind of nice. There were no other sports going on. I'd say I tuned in to like half of them. I locked into maybe 2 of them, and I typically watch the highlights for most of them. I don't know. Maybe we should talk about the TGL. I don't know how I feel about it. It's just like it's really meh to me. But
Yeah,
it's still golf. You get a little bit of personality out of some of these guys.
I think I was hoping for more practice round esque antics in the TGL. I'm not well. Okay, I'll say it this way. I think that there's room for like DraftKings. If DraftKings is going to make a move in golf, like the TGL would be the spot, and encourage the players to be actively betting like throughout the entire competition, and hear them talking about it. Just it's too they have their PGA Tour faces on and they're playing simulator golf. It's like, guys, knock it off. This is your PGA Tour face. I don't want to see it here. Do something different. Like, I don't want to watch PGA Tour face simulator golf. I don't. Like, I don't know. And maybe these guys just are boring. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the feeling that I got after watching TGL a couple times, was that maybe these guys just aren't fun. Maybe pro golfers, when you get to this level, maybe most of them are just boring dudes. Maybe that's why I get locked into guys like Max Homa, because he has a personality. He seems like a real guy. Maybe that's why I get locked into, early Ricky Fowler, because he was just kind of a different guy. But I don't know. Just there's no zhuzh to it, in my opinion.
I'll be honest.
Woods, Tiger Woods hit
the
an
first
80-yard shot when it was, or was it flip flopped? They said 80, they meant 180, so he hit an 80-yard shot. Like, the rest of that day should have just been dogging Tiger Woods for hitting an 80-yard shot when he needed to hit it 180 or whatever it was. But it was just kind of meh.
I'll be honest. The first season for me was just intriguing, and that it never went beyond just intriguing. Because you could tell that they were kind of ebbing and flowing as they went. They were changing some things as they went. I mean, how many times did they change some of the little format things? They used to have, like, you're hitting approach shots from that front platform, closer to the screen. They changed that at some point. There were some clear simulator yardage issues that were going on. But overall, I think I was just like happy to be tuning in. We'll see where it goes from here. I think I'm with you. I don't think the product should be like, hey, here's this really ultra serious competition and we're going to watch the pros do it, because quite frankly, when you're watching golf on a simulator, I couldn't tell the difference between a guy that's a pro and a guy who's not. It's harder to see the spectacle that's going on when it's just hitting it into a mat. So we'll see. I'm on Team TGL just because it's something they're trying that's new. I don't know if it's going to last. I don't even know if the guys like it. So like the guys don't like it, then it's probably not going to go anywhere. When I was perusing the teams there for a second, I noticed that there was Tom Kim, Max Homa, Tiger Woods, and Kevin Kisner on a team. I think that's the same team from last year, but in light of our earlier conversation, Tom Kim and Max Homa both lost their PGA Tour status. I don't think Tiger Woods has any exemption other than some of his lifetime exemptions. And Kevin Kisner is surely doesn't have his PGA Tour card. So that's just an interesting team for this.
Are arguably in the current situation the worst team in TGL,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean,
Yep.
you literally have 4 guys who are literally not on tour.
Yeah. Although, I mean, Max Homa and Tom Kim, like they're going to be playing. Tom Kim's a
Yeah.
stinking poster boy for the PGA Tour.
Yeah, they love Tom Kim.
Mm-hmm.
I love Tom Kim.
I remember watching. This is just a random Tom Kim story, but I happened to be tuning in for I can't remember what tournament it was. Might have been the John Deere, but he starts with a quadruple bogey and 8 on the first hole, and then ends up winning the tournament. Which I've just never seen anything like that before.
That's bananas.
Usually, if you get a quad on the first hole, I'm just packing it in. Like, well, put me down for a 96. See you guys tomorrow.
Hey, the first time I ever shot a round of par, I started out with a double on 1 and a bogey on 2. And I shot even par.
That's unreal.
There you go.
I like it.
I did have a chip in birdie. I did have a chip in birdie on that round.
An actual chip in birdie.
An actual chip in. Missed the green on a par 3. Chipped it in for birdie.
I like it.
I'll never forget that round. I think everybody probably remembers their first round of par. I'm sure you do. I was playing with a random guy. It was me and one other guy that I'd never met before. And I want to say it was after the turn. I think we were on hole 11 at Sun Willows, par 5. I think I was 1 over. And I told him on the tee box on 11. I said, "Hey, just so you know, I'm currently sitting 1 over and I've never shot an even round of par." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And I don't think I birdied that hole. I think I parred that hole. The par 3 that I birdied comes up. And so I'm back to even par there. And I think I just play even par golf, if I'm not mistaken, throughout the whole thing. And this guy that I'd never met in my entire life becomes the biggest cheerleader I've ever played with. I remember hole 18, right? I just need to par the hole. If I par the hole, I, shoot even par. And I hit a good tee shot. I hit an okay approach shot, like, 25 feet to the cup. And for not great golfers, like 25 feet from the cup, like you could hit a good putt or you could hit a terrible putt and 3-putt this thing and jack everything up. And I hit the putt down the hill and, I think I have 8 or 10 inches left. And he picks his ball. I vividly remember before my first putt, he just picked his ball up and put it in his pocket. Didn't mark it. He's like, "I'm out. Come on,
The
make the
stage
putt,
is
man."
yours.
He's like, "Hey, don't think about the par. Think about the birdie." And he was just like all team Matt. And I make the putt and it almost goes in. I go by, 8, 10 inches or whatever and make the comebacker for par and shoot even. And this random dude that I'd never met was like so pumped for me. It was so fun.
I love that. So it's funny. I actually got it framed here. I should take a look at it. I don't even know if we put a date on this. So this is my first round of even par. This was at Wine Valley. I don't actually remember a lot of this round except for the last 2 holes. We'll just quickly go through. It looks like I went birdie, par, birdie, which is an unreal start. So
Yeah, no kidding.
I shot an even par front, even par back. I had a 2 on 11. You guys know I love 2s on this podcast.
You've never stopped telling us about them.
I love 2s. So on the parts I do remember, so on 17 is when it was becoming pretty clear that this could be the day that I shoot par or better. So I'm 1 under going into the 17th hole. Par 4. For anybody that hasn't played Wine Valley, it's par 4 that it kind of dog legs right a little bit, but there's a bunker on the right, kind of right in the wheelhouse for driver, and then on the left there's like a big, I don't even know how to describe it, like a mound, like a wall that looks like a bunker, and the green has this total punch bowl in the front. So if the pin's in the front, you just have to hit your ball within 20 feet of it, and it's going to funnel to the hole. So I'm kind of thinking, just get this thing in play. I'll throw it up. Par is going to be easy. And I just snap this thing left. And we all watch it come down. It bounces and it starts to go into the crap. So we're over there. We got Matt, Joel, and Kraz. We're all just looking for it like crazy. Finally, I'm like, guys, I think it's gone. I got to take a drop. Because it's right on the line of the crap and not. So at Wine, they have if it's in the native area, you can take a lateral drop, but I had to drop way back because it was a snapper. So I took a drop. I think I was hitting like a 5-iron in. And I can't recall exactly where it ended up, but I do remember having a par putt, a long one, and almost went in, tapped in for bogey, and I was just sweating bullets on the 18th hole. I don't recall everything that happened on the 18th hole. I just remember having like a 6-footer for par. And
Oh my God.
everybody in the group wanted to clear the green for me. And I was so stinking nervous. I could barely hold my putter. And it's just like a normal Saturday, or I think we typically played Sunday evenings out there at that time. And it was straight as can be. I made the stinking putt and we all celebrated. Shot even par.
Man, I haven't done it since. I've shot under par through 9, but I haven't since that round ever shot another even round of par.
I have one better round, and that was it. It was at Gamble Sands. We went to Gamble Sands, me, Garrett, Blair, and Matt. We went to go play in the afternoon on day 1. Then the next day we were going to play the par 3 course and head home in the late morning. I hadn't been playing a lot of golf, and I think I shot like an 87 or something, and it was fine and dandy. That place is stinking awesome. And so afterwards, we're having a couple cocktails and we're putting around on the big putting green, and we're getting a little loosey goosey. And we're like, man, we got to play the big course again. And we're trying to talk Garrett into it because he's the one that wanted to be back early the next day. And, after having a few drinks, we all decided, all right, if any of us is awake before 7, then call the clubhouse and we're all just going to agree to go if they have an opening. I think I woke up early. It was like 6 o'clock. I wake up, call the clubhouse, and he says, if you guys come over here, like right now, you can play. So we wake up the guys, we all head over there, and we're a little hungover.
I knew
was
you
definitely
shot
hungover.
under. I didn't know this is how it went.
So the next day, we were not planning on playing 18 again, and my head was thumping like the entire stinking round. And this round of golf was like pure bliss. It wasn't a flashy round of golf. Oh gosh, you know what? I probably got this card floating around here somewhere too. Give me a second.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't shoot under par at Gamble, but the first round I played at Gamble, I want to say I was in the low 70s for sure, or I guess mid 70s.
So
I want to say I shot like a 76.
everybody says this, but Gamble's definitely like a second playthrough is so much easier.
Well, it's intimidating to look at. So I agree. Like if I played it again, especially like on back-to-back days, man, round 2 should be better than round 1.
So this is what we got here, just for evidence here. This has been in my desk. I probably should frame this one. I shot 2 under that day, but I went par, 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 bogey, birdie, birdie, par to shoot 1 under on the front. Then I went par, par, birdie, birdie, par, bogey, par. So that particular day, every golfer is going to know what I'm talking about here, but sometimes you'll be in between clubs or it just feels like it's a pitching wedge, even if the yardage doesn't tell you that. And in your mind, you tell yourself the shot you can hit, but then you just realize that you can't hit that shot, right? Like one perfect example was, I think it was hole 15 out there, par 4, and the pin was in the back, pretty slopey green, a little wind off the front, off the right and in. And I'm like, pitching wedge is a lot of club, but I think if I did a 3/4 kind of choppy pitching wedge, just a little bit of a fade in there, I think that'll do it. I can't do that ever, but on that day, I just could. It just felt right. I was just one with my clubs, and I just hit the shot, and it was safely to 20 feet. And that was also a day where I was just making putts. I'd give myself 20 footers, and I think I made 2 or 3 of those that day. And on the last hole, this was a totally boring round of golf, nothing flashy about it. The last hole, I miss I think it was about an 8-footer for birdie on the last hole, par 5. And I was like kind of frustrated. I was like, gosh, dang it. And Matt's like, no, hey, at least you got a par. And the other guys are getting ready to putt. And I come over, I go, Matt, that was for 69. And he was like, are you serious? You didn't tell anybody? And so I tapped it in for 2 under 70. It was just an unreal day of golf. And we never were supposed to even be playing that day. It was awesome.
That's so cool. Yeah, I knew you had shot a 200 at Gamble Sands. I didn't know the lead up, the story of it though.
Yeah, my head hurt from start to finish, but it sure went away as soon as we were done. It just one of those days, man. It's I think every golfer has probably had those days, whether it means they break par or not, but those days where everything that you tell yourself you can do, you can do it on that one. And it usually doesn't last 18 holes, right? But you'll have a couple of shots where you're like, maybe I am a little better at this than I thought.
I had those rounds. I don't remember the score I shot. But my first ever golf trip, I went to Bend, Oregon, and the first course we played was oh my gosh, I'm brain farting it. It's a Nicholas Fazio. What Nicholas built one, Fazio built the other.
Pronghorn.
Pronghorn, thank you. Geesh. So we were playing, Pronghorn, and I remember I think I went in the bunker on hole 1. Like I feel like I remember my approach shot didn't feel bad. Maybe I was just being aggressive because I was just jacked up to be on a guy's trip, and it goes in the bunker. And I remember I hit a bunker shot that just felt good. I don't know, it just worked, right? Like something made sense. And I hit this bunker shot, and I remember getting in the cart with my buddy Jared, and I was like, man, like these bunkers are different. Like I feel like I can hit bunker shots out of this. And for the rest of the round, we just played good golf. Like I felt like any little shot I wanted to hit, I could hit, just like you were saying. Like, oh, I guess this green is calling for a draw or a fade, or I'm just gonna roll it up. And I don't know, it just kind of worked. It was fun. Those are the
Yeah.
fun rounds where you just kind of feel like Superman.
Yeah. And it always feels so effortless, which is why it's so frustrating when, the next day you show up and you can't find the club face. You're like, God, I think I'm
Yeah.
good at this.
You're putting 10 feet short, and then the next putt's 10 feet long.
Yeah.
You're like, what is you're looking at your hands like, are you the same hands as yesterday? Because yesterday we couldn't miss, and today we can't even putt.
Hey Matt, I think we ought to wrap it up tonight. I do have a parting question for you.
Okay.
Amidst our discussion about holing out and chipping in,
Okay.
what would you say if you were in a bunker on your third shot, greenside bunker, hitting your third shot on a par 4, and it goes in the hole? What are you texting your friends?
Greenside bunker. I think I don't know. I guess I don't know, Sandy Birdie, baby. I don't know what I would say.
I think what we've learned is just bad at texting these things, maybe. So I think this one breaks the rule. This one breaks the rule. I think you would say, or I would say, round was great, hit the ball really well, and I hold out from a bunker on 3. So I think that one breaks the rule because you are holding out, but it is not outside of that 50-yard circle that we talked about. But the important piece is that you hold out from a bunker.
I guess I don't know. Who knows? I mean, you saw the text. It was totally just gobbledygook what I was saying. So
yeah, you're on cloud 9. I understand.
It was fun. It was a good round, man. I was walking. The temperature was perfect. Had a good cigar, good company. You know, who knows what I text?
Yeah, I know it. Well, hey, buddy, let's do this again. I want to bring you in studio soon. I want to show off all this equipment. We can mess with it, find out how to make this thing special. All right, everyone. Well, thanks for tuning in. You will hear from us next week at the latest.
See ya.